Welcome to Lab 4, configuring VTP transparent mode. So I've rated the lab 5 out of 10 for difficulty, and here's the topology. My topology is going to be a little bit different in some of the ports because I'm using my live racks, which don't exactly match up, but this is like a generic cabling diagram. Obviously, if you've got your own rack or a remote Mac, it might be slightly different. I've already configured an IP address on either router because you should be familiar with how to do that. You just go to the interface and obviously add the IP address and subnet mask. You'll see in a moment on router 3 I'm actually using a layer 3 switch, and again it's just because of the way my live rack is cabled up and the problem with the packet tracer, you can't do extended VLANs. So I'm going on to switch 2 now, and I'm just going to do some of the configuration from the requirements. Now this is a layer 3 switch, so you'll see it'll throw up an error in a moment. I'm just adding the VLANs that were requested in the challenge part of the lab. VLANs 2010 and 2030 with the appropriate names. Now the VLANs won't be propagated by the switches because they're set to transparent. So I'm going to set switch port mode access to the interface connecting to the end host, which in this case is a router. I'm going to set that interface to VLAN 2010. So we should be able to ping across eventually because both of these hosts will be in the same VLAN. So switch port mode trunk, because it's a layer 3 switch, I need to do some more configuration and I need to set it to switch port and then switch port encapsulation and switch port trunk encapsulation the command is, and the one we're going to set is 802.1q. The reason being that's the only one covered now by the syllabus for the CCNA. So switch port trunk encapsulation, I'll hit question mark so you can see what our choices are, and a .1q ISL and negotiate. So .1q we'll set it to. Now because I'd connected two switches together, the interface should have actually come up as a trunk link anyway, but I think the requirement in the lab was to set it as a trunk. As I say, the encapsulation command won't work on your layer 2 switches for the CCNA exam because it only supports 802.1q. Okay, we're on switch 2, VTP mode transparent. It's the same configuration really. We've got a different interface on this switch because I'm connecting to my to another switch and just using it as a layer 3 interface so I can ping across. So one VLAN is the same and one is different. 2040 is the new one. I'm going to drop my interface fast Ethernet 0/8 into VLAN 2010. The reason being, this is just the way it's cabled up, as I said. On your diagram, I think it's fast Ethernet 0/2 that I connected to the hosts. So set it to switch port access VLAN 2010. I'm going to set up the trunk between my two switches. I actually configured mine's cabled in as fast Ethernet 0/11, but I've configured a 0/1. But it doesn't matter because the other side is configured as a trunk link, so it will bring up this side here because it's configured as auto and negotiate. So this is why I'm seeing the negotiate 802.1q on my fast Ethernet 0/11. Ignore all of the other interfaces, it's just because it's cabled up for CCNA and CCNP labs, which is why I've got multiple connections here. Show IP interface brief, fast Ethernet 0/8. You've actually got it marked as 0/0 on your diagram. As I said, it's just because that's the only device I've got available for this lab here. So I'm just checking the final task, and it's a ping across the VLAN. Now if I've configured it all correctly and got the trunk link up and the correct interfaces in the correct VLANs, then it should all work. Show VLAN brief. I can see I've got my interface there in the correct VLAN. Same on switch 2. So then all I need to do is ping across the VLANs from one host to another, just to prove off the connectivity. Okay, so that's the ping all working. That's the end of the lab. Thanks for watching.